Hey guys, Louie here. Well, how about that stock market, huh? Thanks for joining me on my drive home. I'll give you a look at the California sky as we tool on home here after work. This is Thursday, and we're headed home. Um, Boy, the stock market tumbled 800 points yesterday and another 500 today. How about that? That was really remarkable, wasn't it? It just gets me wondering about the whole financial system that we're part of right now. And I have a question for you. What are you doing to protect yourself? Any idea, where this whole thing is going? Do you think the stock market is going to correct further? You think that it's time that we pay the price, going from 7,000 up to 27,000? And it's amazing how quickly 2,000 points came off the market. We hit 27,000, now we're down at 25, and it's possible we could rally. But it seems to me the Fed is in a tough position. They loosened to the extent that they just inflated the heck out of the financial system and ballooned the deficit to a crazy, crazy level. And of course, Trump has exacerbated that by giving away, billions and billions of dollars to the wealthy, to the corporations, to the corporate executives who bought back their stock, who inflated their stock options, who reduced the stock outstanding and inflated their earnings per share. Pardon the motorcycle. And in the course of doing that, he made no attempt to curtail spending. So the deficit is ballooning. So we have a deficit growing to the point where, we won't even be able to make the debt service payments on it. We're not controlling spending. Democrats or Republicans have no interest in controlling spending. And when the Fed starts to deleverage just a teeny bit, the market comes down. So what does that hold for the future? I don't see a single asset class that I would want to be invested in right now. I don't want to own corporations because, the fake economy is quickly coming to an end. This recovery is very false, in my opinion. You see the layoffs coming in the financial sector. You see the real estate starting to turn down. I saw a house the other day that, they cut the price by $300,000. All right. So, that was in the upper end. I know in the lower end markets, it's not the same, but this stuff has a way of infecting all levels of the market very quickly. So I wonder, with real estate coming down, with write-offs having been eliminated, with write-offs having been eliminated by Trump in the blue states with higher home values, with mortgage rates going up so dramatically, so fast. 3% mortgages are a thing of the past. Now we're talking 5% mortgages. So if you are looking to buy, do you think people are going to be as anxious to get in on the real estate boom? A year ago, real estate agents were all telling me that I was crazy, that real estate was strong and getting stronger, and there's no need to worry. But since I sold my home a year ago, only like 6 homes have sold in the 1,000-home community that I was part of. And what do you think is going on with the baby boomers? Right? The baby boomers are liquidating, guys. Do you think they're going to want to be part of this inflated stock market? Do you think they're going to want to hold on to their sprawling houses? No, they're going to be selling. They're going to be hunkering down. And I think that's the term that I would use, and that's the feeling that I would say that we're going to start to see more and more often. People being skeptical of the stock market. People being skeptical of the real estate market. People being skeptical of the recovery because they're not necessarily participating in it. And I wonder, what are you doing? If you think that what I'm doing, what I'm saying right now is pumping, right? If If that makes you a pumper to talk about silver and gold in an environment where the world has hardly ever been so unstable, so unsustainable, does that make us pumpers? Or are you thinking that silver and gold would represent an asset class that it'd be good to have a little of? Are you a short-term stacker, a mid-term stacker, a long-term stacker? But are you glad that you have some silver and gold? Or are you just believing the powers that be, that everything is good and getting better, believing your stockbrokers that tell you to stay invested? Even if you're 60 years old, you're going to live to be 100, and you don't want to be out of the stock market. If the market crashes back to, 15,000 or 10,000, do you have time to recover from that? If you're going to invest in something tangible, have you considered, silver and gold? Or are you in real estate? Are you in speculative real estate? Do you own your home? Or does your bank own your home? Right? I mean, I watched a lot of people give their homes back to the bank because they didn't own it. So as I get older, I want to own things that I actually own. I want to have liquid cash for emergencies. I want to have silver and gold. I want to have my money in fixed investments, as I get older, and I know it makes sense to be in the stock market. But right now, it doesn't look that way to me. Not at all. Not at all. The world seems to be coming apart at the seams. And just because the dollar is strong, it is mainly because the rest of the world is weak and getting weaker as a result of the work that Trump is doing to try to strengthen our country. Not that we don't deserve a strong country, but as Hoover found out in the 20s, you can't build a wall around your country, impose tariffs, and watch the rest of the world burn without it coming home to roost. All right? And I'll tell you what Trump's going to do, and I've said this before, but when this all gets out of control, when the Fed can no longer tighten because it crashes the economy, and the Fed can no longer loosen because it creates hyperinflation, there's going to be bankruptcy. And it's going to be Trump doing what he knows how to do. He's going to be declaring bankruptcy for our currency. And if you're holding a whole bunch of paper or stocks, U.S. currency, I think he's going to revalue it. I think he's going to reset it. And just like we lost 2,000 points in 2 days, we could easily lose 20, 30, 40, 50% of our purchasing power in a few days, right? So how do you protect yourself? Now, hopefully if you own property, you own land, you own it outright, right? That's your goal, is to own it and have it be yours. If you own silver and gold, you haven't bought it on credit cards. Do you own tools? Do you stock Johnny Walker Red or guns or ammunition? Are you preparing for what might come? Do you think that it could happen? I've never seen things so precarious. And I see a lot of window dressing and a lot of talk and a lot of tweeting and a lot of blaming. But in the end, it'll be one elephant blaming another elephant, and all of us are going to get trampled. So, if you're of the mind to have hard assets, great. If you're not, what are you doing? How are you protecting yourself? How are you making sure that what you have isn't stolen like it was 10 years ago? Many people I know had, virtually all of what they owned in my community stolen by virtue of the banking crisis, right? If they owned a home, their equity was modest to say the least, and they lost it all. If they owned stocks, when the market fell down to 7,000, a lot of people got out, right? Not that that's a smart thing to do, but just 10 years ago, people lost everything. So do you really think things are good now? We've got debt at an all-time level. We've got personal debt at an all-time high. We've got college student loan debt at an all-time high. We've got our deficit at an all-time high. We've got fiscal responsibility at an all-time low, and not a single person in the government that's going to fix it, right? Just people that are going to reconfigure, our currency and our debt. Do you think that this is going to continue like this, or are you worried? Most people, at least outside the stacking community, they're not worried. They say, my broker says don't worry. My real estate agent says don't worry. My boss says don't worry. Well, these are the same people that are going to say, I'm sorry, the stock market just crashed, hold on. These are the same people that are going to say, I'm your real estate broker, but you know what, I just got fired and now I'm working for Amway. These are the same people that are going to tell you, our company was strong yesterday when I was cashing out my stock options, but I'm sorry, your mid-level job is gone, and but we've got a month of severance for you. Is this the paradigm that you're bought into? Do you really think that this is going to continue? Or is there some other thing that I'm missing? Because I have never seen anything so precarious as I see it right now. And perhaps I'm just, I'm sounding the alarm bell once again and wrong again. But how are you protecting yourself? At least a little bit. How are you doing it? That's my question for the community, because I don't see the silver lining in this. I don't see the soft landing. I just don't see it. And let's see if the stock market bounces back. But if you haven't taken any money off the table and you're all in stocks, wow, look out. If you're all in your tax-deferred investments, the other thing you ought to be considering is it's not what you take out of your retirement plan when you retire. Hopefully you have money in a retirement plan. It's how much after-tax money you take out. Okay, Trump just lowered taxes to the lowest rates in I don't know how many years. And so if you're not considering a Roth IRA as opposed to a conventional IRA, really gives that some thought. When Gavin Newsom becomes the new governor of California and then goes on to become the president, we're going to be looking at 50 to 80% tax rates. So again, you've got your money in the stock market, even if it doesn't crash. How are you going to get your money out so you can spend it? Don't you want to have some money off the table? Don't you want to have some money off the books? Don't you want to have some tangible assets that are bought with after-tax money? Wow, how are you gonna retire on this mess? Or are you buying some gold, and as Backyard Bullion says, it's my pension, right? It's something I own, I control, I hold, and it's not going down. Or if it does go down, who friggin' cares? Okay, if gold goes to 1,000, which I think it will, is that really a big deal? If it goes to 800, is that really a big deal? Or is it the calm before the storm? Before it goes to 5,000 or 10,000? Before the dollar resets? I've never believed more in stacking than I do at this very moment, and I've never thought there was a better time to have money off the table and to be disobedient to the people that are telling you what to do. All the professionals that as soon as they're wrong, they'll say, oh, I was wrong, I'm sorry. And you are left with holding the bag, with whatever you got left, maybe nothing. So I do hope that people are left with something, and I hope you're protecting yourself. But if you're buying into this and you think that everything's okay, and vote Republican and it'll all be cool, right? Well, maybe it'll be better if you vote Republican than Democrat, but it isn't good. It isn't good. Okay, 10-year cycles, guys. Boom and bust, boom and bust. It's been 10 years. Protect yourself. And please post your comments below. Even if you disagree, I'd love to hear what you're thinking. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Louie out.